Hopper, page 170. 170. All right. Chapter 30, Hopper. Trevor and Ty are carpooling to middle school with their soccer friends this morning. But I'll be taking the bus to third grade, just like I did to second grade. I like riding the school bus. It's higher up than our minivan, so you can see more. And Miss Cray, the bus aide, always assigns me a seat near the middle, where nothing too loud or too terrible goes on. But this year I'm nervous because Quinny is going to be on my bus, and she's not talking to me anymore, and I'm not talking to her. Everything has changed. Everything. After breakfast, Mom walks me to the corner. We stand there and wait for the bus and for Quinny. Here she comes. Her hair's gotten bigger, like Aunt Luann's chia pet, and she's not wearing her watermelon barrette for some reason. Behind all that hair, her eyes don't even peek at mine. Neither do her teeth, because her mouth is closed. She's got her hands shoved in her pockets, but she keeps taking them out to scratch at a bracelet on her wrist. Now she's right in front of me, close enough to touch. Does she think my new haircut looks awful? Does she miss me even a tiny bit? I'm not brave enough even to look at Quinny in the face, so I look her in the socks. Her socks are so long that they come all the way up to her knees. Her right sock is green with big orange dots, which I think are supposed to be orange slices. Her left sock is orange with green dots, which are apples. One of the apples has a worm coming out of it. The worm is smiling. I'm not sure how long a person can stare at girls' socks, but I think I might have broken the world record for it. The problem is I don't know what else to do. We're the only kids at this bus stop. Mom and Quinny's mom are busy yakking about contractors and property taxes and class size. Nobody seems to care that Quinny and I are not saying a word to each other. Nobody except me. The school bus finally pulls up to our corner. I hug Mom goodbye and follow Quinny's socks up to the steps. Then there's another problem. Miss Cray on the bus always gives us assigned seats, and this year she puts me and Quinny together in a two-seater near the back. I don't want to sit near the back of the bus. I don't want to sit next to Quinny either, but she scoots right into the seat. Without complaining, I look up at Miss Cray for help, but I guess she doesn't know what my face means, because she goes back to her own seat. I hear the bus engine rumble. I have no choice but to sit next to Quinny. Quinny buckles her seatbelt. I buckle mine. She pulls her backpack away and hides it behind her feet, like she doesn't want me anywhere near it. Then she turns her head all the way toward the window and keeps it there. I can't even see her cheeks. It feels like the longest bus ride ever. I've never been so happy to get to school in my life. I follow the crowd of kids into the building and find my new third grade classroom. I meet my teacher, Miss Yoon. She smiles hello at me, but I hardly notice her face because her belly is enormous. It's so huge that Miss Yoon walks like an Oompa Loompa from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. A tall friend, tired-looking Oompa Loompa. Either Miss Yoon had a really big breakfast in there, or there's a baby inside her belly. I find my cubby, which has a door this year, so it's called a locker. Quinny's locker is all the way down the hall. Fine with me. I find my desk. Quinny's desk is all the way across the room. Good. We all sit down, and Miss Yoon tells us who she is again. Then she makes us go around and introduce our names, so the whole class can hear. A few kids are brand new this year, like Quinny. Most kids are old news, like me. I know almost everybody here, and they know me. And we all know that I don't play with anyone except Owen, and that since he moved away. I just sit and read during recess. Pretty soon, Quinny will find out too, but I don't care, since we're not friends anymore. Then Mrs. Yoon starts talking about school stuff. But before she can get very far, Quinny raises her hand. Miss Yoon, there's a baby in your tummy, isn't there? She asks. Why, yes, Eleanor. I was just about to get to that, says Miss Yoon. Actually, everyone calls me Quinny, remember? Hey, can you still tie your shoes? Some kids laugh at this. I am not one of them. Pardon, says Mrs. Yoon. It must be hard for you to bend down, Quinny says. Can you even see your shoes? Does it hurt? Blurts out a boy. When will the baby be born? Asks another girl. I have a question of my own. Can you feel the baby's heart beating in your belly, the way you feel your own heart beating in your chest? But I don't feel comfortable asking it aloud. Are you going to bring the baby to school? Says Quinny. I already do, every day, Miss Yoon says with a tired smile now. What are you going to name it? Asks another girl. You should name it Victoria if it's a girl, says Victoria. My dog's name is Brutus, says a boy. My gerbil's name is Sweet Potato, says a girl. My chicken's name was Freya, sighs Quinny. I hear the sadness in her voice. Freya. For a second, I feel it, too. We worked so hard to catch that chicken. We came so close. All right, class, that's enough. Miss Yoon chuckles. The baby will be born later this year, and we haven't picked out a name yet. Let's move on. Miss Yoon starts talking about schedules and textbooks, and everybody settles down and the day goes on. We get new writing journals. We play basketball, addition, and math, which we did last year too, so I already know how. We get in line to go to the library. Hopper, look how you've grown, says Mr. Brolin, the school librarian. It's true. Now I can reach up to the top shelf where all the fifth grade books are. After library, we get in line and go to the gym. Hopper, wow, I almost didn't recognize you, said Miss Deming, the gym teacher. Now I can climb the rock wall without a boost. I start climbing and keep climbing. I reach the top and look out over the whole gym. Everyone looks so small up here, so quiet, so harmless, even Quinny. I wish I could stay up here forever, but I can't, because after gym, we have music. And after music, Miss Yoon takes us outside for the worst part of the day, recess. Chapter 31, page 178. Title of this chapter, Quinny. Except for Mrs. Yoon's famous gigantic baby belly, I don't love third grade at Whisper Valley Elementary School so far. Here's why. Riding the bus this morning with a rude boy who ignored me was a frowny way to start the day. I'm not going to waste my breath talking about him, but his name starts with an H. And when we get off the bus, and the school was so big and I wasn't sure where to go, and I wish someone would help me. The boy whose name starts with an H, for example, but no one did. All the grown-ups were busy helping the smaller kids, I noticed. The bigger you are, the more people think you know where you're going. But that's not always true. Finally, a teacher pointed the way, and I found my classroom, and it wasn't that hard, but I didn't know that ahead of time, so I was just a little bit scared. And then my locker wouldn't open right or close right. Cubbies were much easier. And then Victoria showed up, wearing a glittery itchy pink top and a puffy itchy pink skirt, and my favorite watermelon barrette that I gave her by mistake. She saw my backpack and made a crinkly face. You can't bring a dirty, ruined backpack to third grade, she said. Get rid of that thing. I looked down at Cleo's marker scribbles on my backpack, I thought. Ruined is kind of a mean word, especially the way Victoria said it. Cleo was probably just trying to draw a tree. I can't get rid of it, I told Victoria. Mom and Dad just got it for me. Tell them you want a new one. Duh! And then Victoria introduced me to all the pretty friends, who belonged to her very much, and their names were Caitlin, Kaylee, and Michaela. Their backpacks were clean, and their clothes were mostly itchy pink birthday party clothes, and their hair was mostly skinny, and their mouths mostly whispered. I noticed they were all wearing BFF bracelets, too. I thought you were from New York City, said one of those pretty friends. She looked at me from head to toe like she was searching for something she couldn't find. I am. I was. I felt a tiny droop of sadness make me shorter. Those girls all looked at me like they didn't quite believe me. That t-shirt's really old, said another pretty friend. I used to be Mom's friend from the night she met Daddy. That's why it's special. Your socks don't match, said the third pretty little friend. It looks like you dressed in the dark, and everyone giggled, except me, because I was the one they were giggling at. Well, it looks like you guys got dressed in a bubblegum factory, I said. Not because I was making fun of them, but because it was plain old true. I never seen so much itchy pink in my life. Then all those pretty girls looked at me a certain way, and I've never seen girls look at me like that way before. It was not pretty, and Victoria smiled, but not in a nice way either. Then the bell rang and the classroom part of the school started, and I finally got to meet Miss Yoon and her fabulous gigantic baby belly. I had tons of curious questions about the belly, but I only got to ask a few since we had to rush on to regular typical stuff like writing and math. And now writing and math are over, so we're lining up to go to the library. And that's my first day of the school so far. So far, so bad. Except for Miss Yoon's fabulous gigantic baby belly. Library is when you have to be all quiet, which is not one of my strengths. It is one of Victoria's strengths, I notice. She knows how to be quiet, even though she is talking. Everywhere we go, from library to gym to music, she and those pretty girls whisper into one another's ear. I don't know how to whisper very well. My talking always comes out too big. Whispering is for secrets, and I'm not good at keeping those either. Everywhere we go, Victoria also keeps an eye on me. From library to gym to music, she tells me where to sit and what to do and who's who and what's what. All I have to do is obey her and life will turn out fine. But my body is full of this strange, shaky feeling, like I'm wearing my sneakers on the wrong feet, and my right earlobe is heavier than my left. I rub the skin on the side of my head, right where my watermelon Brett used to be. I think maybe I'm having a sad hair day. In the hallway after music, Victoria hooks her arm through mine and pulls me along. Come on, we always start by meeting at the sycamore tree, she says. Then we'll work our way over to the blacktop for jump rope and hula hoops. It takes me a second to figure out what that girl is talking about. Recess is next. Page 184, chapter 32, Hopper.
Each of the pages I did chapters.
I've been going to school since kindergarten and I still don't understand recess. It's too loud and too fast. It's too crowded and too rough, and there's never enough shade. My friend Owen didn't like recess either, so we would always play together, away from all the trouble. But then Owen moved away in second grade, so from then on, I just sat on the steps at recess and read a book. Some of the playground grown-ups tried to stop me at first. They tried to get me to play tag with the other kids, but I didn't want to. Trevor and Ty chased me around at home all the time. Who needs more of that at school? Reading on the steps was my kind of fun, so I sat there for second grade recess and I read the Great Brain Book and Why Don't Your Eyelashes Grow, and all the Harry Potter books and The Art of Juggling and Dr. Frankenstein's Human Body Book, and Have a Nice DNA and Blood and Guts, a working guide to your own insides. Grandpa Gooley was amazed by all my reading. Hopper, you'll make an outstanding doctor one day, he told me, or possibly an Olympic swimmer. The reason he said the last part is because we were at the pool during this conversation, and I had just beaten him in 50-meter freestyle. This year, in third grade, I didn't know what's going to happen at recess. Hopefully nothing new. When I get outside, I see that recess is still loud, fast, and crowded, and rough. I sit on the steps. I pull out my book. I'm starting off the school year with 101, Things You Didn't Know About the Human Heart. Without moving my head too much, I look around for Quinny. Not because she's my friend, but just to see where she is, so I know where not to look. I see her standing with Victoria and a bunch of Victoria-type girls by the sycamore tree. They're talking in one another's ears and covering their mouths with their hands. But Quinny isn't talking. She doesn't look happy, which is not my problem, since we're not friends anymore. Then, a strange thing happens. One of the new kids, a boy named Caleb, who moved here from California and doesn't know yet that I'm too friendly, runs past and tags me. You're it, Caleb cries as he runs away. I stand up. Wait, I'm never it. I'm not even in the game. If this new kid knew me, he'd know that. But Caleb keeps running. And then I realize everyone's looking at me. Everyone's waiting. Suddenly, I am in the game. Even though I don't want to be, I am it. I put down my book and walk down the steps. Everyone runs out of the way because I'm it. But I don't chase anybody. I walk the other way over to the other side of the playground to the sycamore tree. I walk right up to Quinny and I tag her arm. You're it. Ooh. All right, chapter 33. Page 188. Quinny. Ooh. I'm what? I stare at Hopper, very, very shocked. First of all, he isn't even my friend anymore. And second of all, we're not supposed to be playing tag in third grade. Although a ton of kids didn't hear about that rule, I guess, and they're still playing tag. And third of all, Victoria is watching me, and I don't want to make her mad by playing tag with a boy who's not even my friend anymore. But here he is, standing right in front of me. So I tag Hopper back, hard. He stands there for a second, like he's surprised. Then he tags me again. So I tag him again. And he tags me again. This keeps happening until Victoria steps between us. Leave her alone! Victoria booms at Hopper right up his nose, which is the place he is most sensitive about words getting boomed. Hopper's startled nose backs away from Victoria. He looks at me. It is not a making fun kind of look. I don't know what to do now. I'm still mad at him. And I'm still mad at him.
I'm so sad.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still mad at him, and I'm still sad at him. Thank you. But I'm also still curious about him. Quinny, why are you playing with a boy? Victoria huffs at me. I remember the rules. And then Victoria's mouth makes a terrible kissy shape. The other girls giggle. Get him, Victoria cries. Two pretty friends grab Hopper's arms and back him up against the sycamore tree. Victoria and another pretty friend push me towards Hopper. Pucker up, city girl, sneers Victoria. No, kiss him. Do it, on the lips, you'll love him. The pretty friends giggle as they push me towards Hopper now. His face is white. His looking eyes are bulging. Our lips are getting closer. Hopper's lips plus my lips equals the biggest vomit volcano in the history of vomit volcanoes. I shake my head and I close my eyes. I try to swallow my own mouth. This can't be happening. It's just a bad dream. And then somebody screams, Kiep! It's me, and it's called self-defense. A strong, fast side kick to the left. My leg does it without me even realizing. Ow! Screeches Victoria, whose knee gets in the way of my kick. The other girls move away from me. No one's giggling anymore. They all look afraid. That's right. You mess with a Taekwondo green belt, you should be scared. Very, very, extra, very scared. I think you broke my kneecap, Victoria whimpers, limping a little before, falling elegantly to the ground. Call 911. Call 911. I need an ambulance. Victoria, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. Don't touch me. Shame on you for attacking your best. But then Victoria stops in the middle of her sentence. Her face gets stiff. Quinny? She says in a creepy calm voice. What? She points at my bare wrist. Where's the friendship bracelet I gave you? I look at my wrist. I realize that itchy pink thing must have fallen off. What did you do with it? Victoria snaps. You weren't supposed to take it off, ever. I didn't. Put it back on right now. I look at the ground all around me, but it's no use. The friendship bracelet is gone. I look around the playground. Hopper's gone too. Quinny, we're waiting. Victoria stands up, glaring at me. The good news is, I guess she doesn't need an ambulance after all. The grumpy news is, she's waiting for me to put on something that I don't even have. The other girls wait for Victoria to finish waiting. Kaylee whispers into Caitlin's ear, then Caitlin whispers into Michaela's ear. All their eyes stare at me in a sunburned way. I close my eyes and try very, very, extra very hard to remember the rules again. Especially this one. There's no crying in third grade. I'm sorry, I mumble. I didn't know where it is. Fine, Victoria huffs. Then, with a little mean smile, she reaches up to her head and unsnaps my precious watermelon bread and throws it over the playground fence.